Okay, well, the two most obvious things that I think that make this game different are the two things that I really like about it. And one of them is the masks, because you get to play as different characters other than Link's. I mean, our favorite characters, well, everybody loves the Gorons and everybody loves the Zoras. And now you finally get a chance to actually play as them, and that was really cool. Swimming really fast as the Zora, and rolling around in a ball as a Goron. It was really just a new way of looking at the game, and a new way of solving all the puzzles, and it was done really well. And the other thing that I really liked about it was the time limit. And when I first heard about the time limit, I was a little skeptical. I was thinking, oh, that's going to be really difficult, and you have to jump back and forth, it's going to be so repetitive. But they did it really well, and they did it in a way where it really didn't make the game repetitive, and it seems like you're just playing straight through it. But you do have that whole thing where you're going back in time, you're slowing down time, you're speeding up time, and the whole way that the game works around these 3 days is just incredible. Depending on what time you're at in the game, in every part of the world, this whole little Zelda world, something different will be happening at that time. And just to go around the town and to look at that, it's even cool just to look at, like, now it's 3 o'clock and this is happening.
Definitely the masks. There were so many of them, and apart from looking cool, a lot of them had like neat effects. Like the Great Fairy Mask would tell you where fairies were in the map and they draw them into you. Or my favorite would be the Giant Mask. Even though it only worked in one room, turning giant for that one boss was awesome. And the boss battles are pretty awesome too. I still remember the Twin Mold boss in the Stone Tower. That's one of my favorite parts of the whole game. The music was really good too, but you know, that's to be expected from Zelda. Ocarina of Time was good. I thought this one was a bit better though.
Besides a better emphasis on storytelling, in my opinion, the best part about Majora's Mask is being able to replay all the dungeons, side quests, and even fighting all the bosses again. This is something you're not able to do in any other Zelda game. And if you just want to fight a boss and not go through the dungeon again, you can skip the dungeon and go right to the boss. Definitely one of the best replay values in a Zelda game. Unfortunately, the way it sets up to replay these certain events again is also one of its greatest curses. Even though I hate the Stone Tower Temple, there's nothing really wrong with it. There's a few annoying parts to it, but it's not like it's unplayable. What I really hate about Majora's Mask is its save feature. In most other Zelda games, you could pause and hit save, and you could continue. You can't really do that in Majora's Mask. There are only two ways to save. One, go all the way back to the beginning of day 1. By doing so, you lose any rupees, bombs, arrows, items and bottles, and any keys you had in a dungeon. That includes the big boss key. The only other way to save the game is to go to one of these owl statues. Now you're able to warp to them, so it doesn't really feel like it's that much of a chore, but it forces you to save and quit. And if you start up the file again, and you don't save, it doesn't go back to the last time you went to the owl statue, it goes all the way back to the last time you saved at day 1. Meaning that if you're trying to do a side quest, and you mess up, you can't go back to the last time you went to an owl save statue. No, you'll have to start all over again. And for my favorite, sometimes that means waiting around 6 minutes. Yeah, I could go do something else, but then you run into the problem of not being able to get back in time in order to do the side quest. At one point, the game actually did freeze on me, so I was forced to go back to day 1 and start all over again instead of having a nice little save feature so I can start from an easier part. Oh, and you can't even save the game until you get your ocarina back. So I hope you're prepared to play about 30 to 72 minutes into the game before you can save. I also have a small issue with the 3-day time limit. Now, I understand that when you're in towns and you're walking around in the field, time will pass. I understand that. But in dungeons, sometimes you really need to take your time to figure out these puzzles. So I really don't understand why time doesn't just stop when you enter into a dungeon. And don't give me that it's because it's consistent or it makes it more challenging. That's not true. It makes it more frustrating. And have you noticed that the time actually stops whenever you beat a boss?
Well, the time limit can be an issue sometimes. If you don't know the special songs that you can play to slow down time or go forward a day, you find yourself standing around waiting a lot, or you find yourself running out of time too quickly. And the other big issue that you mentioned a lot is the save system, which is just, I'm not even going to get into it, it's just absolutely horrendous.
Well, okay, there was one point in this game where I was stuck. I was stuck for hours on end. I couldn't figure out what to do. And this was not even the tower temple, but the part before the tower temple. Just getting to that temple is like a temple in itself. It's so complicated and confusing. And my problem was when you first get the song that leaves sort of a little doll dummy type thing of yourself, I didn't realize that if you could change masks, then you could leave multiple dummies. Or I don't even know what to call that. I'm just going to call it a dummy. But I didn't realize that you could use multiple dummies. It just said you can play the song to leave a dummy. And since I never knew that you could, I was sitting there for hours on end trying to figure out how to get to the top of this thing just using one dummy. It's the hardest thing in any Zelda game that I've ever had to do to get into a temple. I mean, it was like an entire level in itself for me, and it was kind of annoying. Oh, I also had some trouble finding all the Zora eggs at one point, and I couldn't find one, and I couldn't figure out why I couldn't find it, and I ran out of time and had to do the whole thing over again. That was the one time where actually having to go back in time and redoing it was a pain, because I just didn't want to do it again. I didn't want to go around searching for the eggs that I already found, because I couldn't find this last one.
Oh, don't even get me started on that part. The first time I played this game, I only had one bottle. So try to imagine finding these seven Sora eggs with one bottle. You have to backtrack 6 times in a 3-day time limit. Do you have any idea how frustrating that is? And yeah, I would have loved to have had another bottle, but the game never really told me which side quest I'd have to do in order to get it. Besides, I usually do side quests after I beat the game. I don't know why, I just do.
I definitely give it a perfect score of 5 out of 5, because even though I do have some problems with it, I really think the gameplay and the story, the music, the graphics all hold up well enough for it to hold its own against pretty much any other game that I've played. I really think it's like the best Zelda game out there.
Finally, my overall rating for this game, I guess I'll rate it out of 10 this time. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. Now, I don't like to give games 10 out of 10, but I would give Ocarina a 9 out of 10 or something even closer, but I really think that this game was at least just as good as Ocarina, but I'm probably kind of biased because I played Ocarina first and it's the original, but this game overall was really good. It had a few problems every once in a while with it being so complicated, but overall, with the integration of the mask, the whole idea of the 3-day time limit, plus this game is very original to the series, and I think that's one of the things that makes it awesome, and if you haven't played this game, you should definitely try it, no question.
Majora's Mask is a brilliant sequel to a brilliant game. They've changed it up so much that it never really feels like deja vu. But because of the resetting save system and the 3-day time limit that is constant, even though you can slow down the speed of time, it never really feels like you can actually take your time in a dungeon. And if they could have had it where time just stops in a dungeon, or where you can continue from where you last left off with an owl statue, I wouldn't have an issue with this game. If you're able to overlook the 3-day time feature and the save system, then yeah, Majora's Mask would be a 5 out of 5. Me though, I just can't do it. I just hate those things so much because they are a constant annoyance in the game. A 4 out of 5. It's an enjoyable experience for those who can play it.